the distinguished honor and privilege to warmly welcome you all to this afternoon's function. That is the 2016 General Headquarters End of Year WASA. Let me, on behalf of the entire Ghana Armed Forces, extend special welcome to Mr. President, this being his maiden official visit to Burma camp as our Commander-in-Chief. Mr. President, as an armed force, there are many threads that tie us together and many bonds that bind us into one great family. And WASA is one of such unifying instruments. Occasions like this create the much-needed social environment for command to appreciate the contributions of all ranks of the military and civilian employees during the past year. It also represents an opportunity to extend our warm gratitude to government, all institutions and individuals whose support and goodwill underpin our achievements. Your presence here today, Mr. President, and that of all the high-profile dignitaries underscores the importance you attach to this occasion, and we consider it the ultimate expression of your care and concern for the Ghana Armed Forces. We therefore thank you for setting aside your precious time to join us in this celebration. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in taking stock of our activities for the year 2016, as indeed in other years, we can sum it all up in one phrase: operational overstretch against resource constraints. That, however, has not deterred us from accomplishing our core mandates of protecting by land, sea, and air the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ghana against internal and external aggression. In carrying out this mission, we contribute to the transformation of the nature of the economy, to accelerate growth, and also help reduce poverty. Over the past year, we persevered in our efforts at optimally deploying our human resource in such a manner as to achieve these objectives. Additionally, we continue to hone our skills in international peace support operations. And here, let me thank Mr. President for the funds the government released to enable us to pay the end dollar of troops currently serving in various peace support missions. On this occasion, we want to acknowledge that whatever we have been able to achieve is largely the result of the strategic direction of government, the synergy between us and our sister security services, particularly our brothers and sisters in the police, sister governmental agencies, the diplomatic community, as well as local and international corporate institutions. I wish to acknowledge this healthy cooperation and to state that we continue to cherish the goodwill and brotherhood that has characterized this relationship. Before ending my address, let me observe on the recurrent security challenges that we face in the West African region. As you all are aware, crime and insurgency, and terrorism in particular, have become more sophisticated worldwide, and it takes constant upgrade of equipment, training, and development of effective strategies for us to keep pace with the changing dynamics. In this light, we applaud the demonstrated commitment of the government in helping to retool all the three services of the Ghana Armed Forces. We are determined to continue partnering with other security services to fight crime, protect vital national installations, and respond to national emergencies. We are also ready and willing to join the international community at all times to bring peace and security to troubled parts of the world in furtherance of the foreign policy of government. We wish to restate to the people of Ghana our readiness, even at the peril of our lives, to ensure the rule of peace and security across the country at all times. Let me at this juncture acknowledge that the service families are an integral part of the defense community in this country, and we wish to use this occasion to applaud and recognize their continued support. Finally, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, your presence here has definitely scaled up the spirit and relevance of this occasion, and we are most grateful. Once again, I welcome you all and wish you a very enjoyable and memorable celebration. Thank you very much, and may you all have a very fruitful and prosperous New Year. Thank you.
It's my joy and pleasure to be part of this very wonderful occasion. That is the end of the year Wasa of the General Headquarters. Let me say, this is my maiden Wasa since I took over as your chief servant, the Minister for Defense. I am indeed privileged and extremely privileged to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President and to have the singular opportunity together with the men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces to host you since I took over the ministry you assigned to me. Mr. President, distinguished officers, men and women, the Ghana Armed Forces and civilian employees, the General Headquarters, you have worked so hard for the year and really deserve to make merry on this special day. Of course, it is a way to clean your sweat. The year 2016, I believe, as we all know, was unlike other years. It was very challenging and extremely challenging because of the presidential and parliamentary elections. But I'm very glad and happy to acknowledge that you stood very tall. The people of Ghana really thank you. Mr. President, before you took office, you had always told me that your attention has been drawn to the many challenges facing the women and men of the Ghana Armed Forces, mainly in areas of troop accommodation, difficulties in payment of operational allowances for troops in the missions, lack of petroleum, oil, lubricant to run vehicles for operations, and for manpower administration and manpower shortfalls due to retirements, training challenges, especially issues pertaining to the basic fitness test for selection to participate in the UN operations. Mr. President, it has always been your wish and desire to ensure that these issues are solved and solved amicably and very quickly. And I know that you'll be addressing these issues in your address. I believe you all know that the President is an action president. And today, in his address, I am very sure that he will be mentioning things you want to hear. Mr. President, Chief of Defense Staff, and your OBU officers, men and women, civilian employees of the Ghana Armed Forces, let me take this opportunity to thank and commend you for all the good job you did throughout 2016. And as Minister, I can assure you that I will serve and continue to support you to execute what you have to do and do to the best of your abilities.
I am honored by the invitation to be here at this year's Wasa. This is my second since assuming the high office of the land. I much enjoyed my first, which was with the police service, and I know I will enjoy this one too, my maiden one at Burma Camp as your Commander-in-Chief. Officers, men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces, The traditional challenges to security, such as chieftaincy conflicts, land disputes, religious intolerance, tribal ethnic conflicts, and political rivalry, are being compounded by contemporary threats like drug and human trafficking, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, armed robberies, cybercrime, and activities of nomadic herdsmen. Today, the challenges to Ghana's national security are numerous, complex, and sometimes quite unpredictable. Nevertheless, in the face of all these threats, you continue to discharge your duties equitably and professionally. All of us owe a debt of gratitude to you, the men and women of the armed forces, for being prepared to put your lives on the line to keep our nation safe, safeguard our sovereignty, and protect our territorial integrity. So it is good that you take this one afternoon off to make merry. And to all service personnel and civilians who will receive awards this afternoon for distinguishing themselves over the course of the past year, I say aiko and more grace to your elbows. I am glad to see the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, my good friend, Air Marshal Michael Samson-Oje, present with us, as well as some of his predecessors, like other good friends, Brigadier General Nuno Mensah, and it's not a secret, who was in fact part of my 1998 unsuccessful campaign for the NPP presidential primary, Major General Edwin Sam, and Lieutenant General Seth Obeng. Each and every one of them is to be congratulated for the work they've done over the years in molding the Ghana Armed Forces into what it is today, the toast of the region, of the continent, and dare I say, one of the best trained in the world. To the new Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Obed Akwa, a man I know quite well from the days when we both worked for that outstanding Ghanaian leader, former President John Ajekum Kufuor. I congratulate you on your appointment. You have distinguished yourself as a consummate professional, and I wish you the very best of luck. The men and women of the armed forces are looking up to you to take them into a new era of modernity and even greater professionalism. The same goes for the distinguished soldier, Major General William Ayamdo, whom I also congratulate on taking up his new position as Army Commander, that is Chief of Army Staff. I am confident that he will continue to contribute effectively to the growth and strengthening of the armed forces. I was in the Gambia on 19th February, where I attended the inauguration of that country's new president, Adama Barrow. I went in the company of, amongst others, the new Chief of Staff and the officer in charge of the Southern Command, Brigadier General Opong Pepra. Everyone I met told me how professional and well-disciplined our 208 troops who were part of the ECOWAS mission in the Gambia, the ECOMIG, were. The thoroughness with which they executed their mandate, a mandate which was to enforce the rule of law and ensure that the rightfully elected leader assumed the reins of government, left me proud as Commander-in-Chief. To some extent, however, I was not really surprised, because when I was foreign minister some 10 years ago, one of the things that consistently buoyed me up was the performance of Ghana's armed forces in peacekeeping operations. Everywhere I went in the world, it was one of the first things my fellow foreign ministers, indeed, even foreign presidents, would tell me. Your soldiers are very professional. They are doing a good job. Whether it was Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Somalia, wherever it was, the reports of how good Ghanaian soldiers are were all the same. Long may it continue. And in this context, let me thank and congratulate you on the effective role you played in ensuring that our last electoral exercise of 7th December 2016 was conducted in a peaceful, stable atmosphere that has won the admiration of the world and enhanced the image of our country as well of its democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, my vision for the armed forces is summarized by this quote attributed to the British Field Marshal Bernard Law Montgomery, one of the most inspirational commanders of the Second World War. He said, and it is worth quoting him, "The soldier who is well provided for, who is not disturbed by petty and unnecessary inconvenience, who knows that everything possible is being done for him, who is well clothed and well fed, is a contented soldier," unquote. Achieving such a state of affairs for the officers, men and women of the armed forces, is going to be the focus of my government. I can state that the realization of this vision began during the first few weeks of my coming into office. An amount of 13 million United States dollars was released to clear the arrears owed our peacekeepers. So as I speak, no soldier is owed any monies arising from peacekeeping duties. Again, the decision has been taken to ensure that all military personnel who embark on peacekeeping missions will receive their allowances on tour and not when they arrive in Ghana after the completion of their duty tour. No matter in which part of the world you find yourselves on peacekeeping duties, you will be paid your allowances there. That is the principle, and we're not going back on it. Peacekeeping monies are for peacekeepers. In furtherance of our commitment to improving your welfare, my administration, in fulfillment of a manifesto pledge, has increased the peacekeeping allowance, effective January 2017, from 31 United States dollars to 35 United States dollars. You can give me some of that money if you like. I'll be able to take it. In terms of military preparedness, government will actively support contemporary training methods that will not only keep you abreast with international military trends, but will also ensure that you remain the beacon of armed forces across the continent. We are committed to providing you with modern military equipment which would complement the training you would receive. Government is also committed to enriching the human resource base of the armed forces by supporting initiatives that will provide further education for soldiers, sailors, and airmen to enhance further their skills at protecting our territorial integrity. With regard to our sailors, the advent of oil and gas has made their role even more critical, as they now have the added responsibility to protect our waters and oil fields from new dangers. In the presence of the Minister for Defense, the energetic, excellent Dominic Nitiwol, government is going to allocate the needed resources to you to protect our sea lines of communication, especially in the wake of current activities in the Gulf of Guinea, such as piracy, disruptions, and destruction of oil gas operations and installations, bunkering, drug trafficking, and smuggling, among others. Our airmen will not be left out of this program of resource enhancement so that we have an Air Force worthy of the name. Ladies and gentlemen, in boosting the morale of the armed forces further, the Asampa budget statement, read a week ago by the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, announced the Barracks Regeneration Project, which will refurbish and renovate all military barracks across the country. Additionally, more residential accommodation facilities will be put up in all the units to reduce the acute accommodation problem facing our soldiers. A contented soldier is one whose remuneration does not unduly distract him from his mandate. My government intends to take your welfare seriously. The 37 Military Hospital is the National Emergency and Disaster Hospital for the country. Under the last MPP government, it was expanded, refurbished, and re-equipped. As a result, it was designated a Level 4 referral hospital of the United Nations. I am pleased to announce that action on the third phase of the 37 Military Hospital project has begun. This is to ensure that the hospital continues to provide first-class health care for members of the armed forces and their families, and also for 37 to meet more effectively its function as a national emergency hospital. Government is also committed to constructing a new military hospital in Tamale to service the health needs of military personnel and their families in the northern sector of our country. There is one last issue I would like to touch on before I finish. Legislative review of the Armed Forces Amendment Regulations of 1986, LI 1332, has begun. Its purpose, the purpose of the review, is to extend the serving duration of other ranks from the current 25 years to 30 years. In fulfillment of the manifesto pledge we made, I want all Ghanaians to see me as a man of my word. Let me reiterate that my government is determined within our means to give whatever support is required to ensure that we have armed forces that remain the best in the region and one of the best in the world. Just as I indicated at the Wasa of the police service, let me restate that I am determined to do something about the state of our economy. Our nation is a wealthy one, and my government and I are resolute that we will put measures in place that will make the wealth apparent in the lives of our people. That is how, by the grace of God, I will justify the great faith the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians reposed in my party, the New Patriotic Party NPP, and myself by the historic verdict of 7th December last year. Ghanaians want armed forces that are professional, well-disciplined, well-motivated, and respectful of the rights and liberties of the people. We should work together to achieve this goal. Thank you for having me. God bless you. God bless our homeland and make her great and strong.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Hallelujah.